This video is meant to show you how to use the free Pedigree tool by Progeny. This is the tool that you're going to be using for your project on pedigrees and inheritance patterns. You'll want to use the Draw Pedigree option, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And once we do click on that, we have where we can enter a name for our pedigree. It's up to you what you want to call it. I'm going to name it the disorder that I'm covering here in this example. So I've put in there cystic fibrosis, and then I'm going to click next. Once we do that, we're presented with a basic kind of starting pedigree. We've got a few individuals already on the diagram and a few generations listed there. You'll certainly be able to add individuals and add generations. You have specific numbers of individuals and generations that you need in your pedigree, so you will need to do that eventually. As far as the information that we see here, we have the males represented by squares, the circles are the females, and we've got the line connecting them indicating that they are a couple. If we want to add some information about the individuals, we can click on them. And you have the plus sign here. If we click on that, you've got a number of options presented to you. And at this time, I'm going to go down to the bottom and I'm going to click Apply Subtext. Once I do that, I can enter some information about this individual. So I'm going to enter that this is Joe. I'm going to put in his age is going to be 82. And then the next line, you are asked to identify the genotype of each individual in your pedigree. So this is a good place to indicate that genotype, and I'm going to put in here that Joe is big A, big A. Okay, so that would be the genotype for Joe. Once I click off of that, click anywhere, you can see that the information is listed underneath him. If I go to the next individual, I can do the same thing. Just go down to Apply Subtext, enter a name, and then an age, and then the genotype of this individual. So you'll go through and you'll put that information for each of these individuals. I'm going to just do a few of them here so that we have something to look at. Okay, so now that I've got a few individuals here that I can look at, I've put their names, their ages, their genotypes underneath them. If we want to indicate whether or not an individual has the disorder or not, we're going to click on that individual. In this case, Sarah is going to be the one that has this disorder. I'm going to click the plus sign and I'm going to go down here to Apply Symbols. When we click on that, we have a number of different symbols that we can apply to the individual. And you're just covering one disorder. So since you're covering one disorder, you can pick any of these options to represent that. I'm just going to pick this one here. And you want to indicate what this is actually representing. So this would indicate the disorder that you're covering. So cystic fibrosis is the one that we're covering in this example. So I'm going to enter that information there. And then when I click off of that, you can see that there is the blue indicator there on Sarah, and that indicates that she does have this condition or this disorder. Right? So that's how we would add the names, the ages, the genotypes, and also whether or not they have the disorder. So that's one thing that we need to do with this pedigree. If we want to add individuals to the pedigree, because you have to show, again, a number of individuals on the pedigree. To do that, when you click on them, you've got all these arrows to the side. And you can see that these are telling you you can add siblings, you can add children. So if we want to add another child for this one, we just click the down arrow, you can see that a child was added immediately. If we want to add another one, again, click down. If we want to add a sibling to this one, we just click that arrow. So it's very easy to add additional people to this pedigree. If we want to add a parent, we click up. you can see that the parent is there. This would be the way to add a spouse, okay, so the other parent. So you can see that I've added very quickly a number of individuals there. If you have them and you want to change an attribute of that individual, so for example, if the individual is a male, but you actually want this to be a female that's represented, we would click on the symbol, we will click the little plus sign, and then we can change this gender right here. So I can change that to a female, and you can see that the symbol changed to a circle. So again, if we are going to add the name, the age, the genotypes, we click on them, we go to the plus, go down and apply subtext, and we can again add that information. Now, another thing that we can add in here is we can add if we want to indicate whether the individual is deceased or not. So if you are showing 3 or 4 generations, there's a good chance that some of those individuals are going to be deceased. You're not required to indicate that on your pedigrees, but if you do want to indicate it, that is a attribute that we can add in here. So the status, we could add deceased. And this line slash through the symbol indicates that that individual is deceased at the time that this pedigree was actually put together. Just a few other things that I want to show you on here is that you can indicate some options about how it displays. If we want to get rid of the subtext legend, that would be this information that says the name, the age, subtext, and so on. I think it's nice to get rid of that. It kind of clears it up, cleans it up a little bit, makes it just look a little nicer. So we can do that. If you need to add information concerning what the inheritance pattern of this is, we can add text to this. So if we want to just add annotated text, you can click on this text box up here, annotated text, and we can say that this is inherited in an autosomal recessive manner. And how it's inherited is going to depend on the disorder that you have. So I just click on that, it goes away. If I want to move this around, I can do that. So it's really a very simple program to use. Just click on what you want to change. If you want it to display a little differently, you can change these attributes over here. For example, we can change the title or the header of it. Again, make it look just a little bit cleaner. Now, if we're ready to submit this at the end, we want to click Save Image, and then you will have your pedigree there, and you have instructions for actually saving this so that you can upload it and submit it as your assignment project. Right? So that's how we would use this software. Very simple. Plan a little bit of time because you do need to add a number of individuals and generations, and you need to add information about all of those. But I think you'll find that it's a very simple way to put together your pedigree pictures for this project.